Justin Verlander, who turned 42 yesterday, had a sit-down with Bob Nightingale of USA Today. Among the things Verlander said was that he very much wants to win the 38 more games he needs to get to 300 wins. Everything else he said comes straight out of the Mike Wilbon handbook.
Love
Verlander said analytics is to blame for the demise of the starting pitcher. He stumps for renewed value on starting pitchers winning games, and he wants rule changes to ensure that starting pitchers go deep into games. Verlander said, this is a quote, "We used to make fun of guys going 5 and fly. Now it's the standard," unquote. Wilbon, what are the chances baseball will listen to Verlander?
God bless Justin Verlander. Tony, you know I'm a cynic about this. I think baseball is the most reduced sport of all relative to what it was 20 years ago, 40 years ago, 70 years ago. I just think baseball is just regressed. And the biggest part of it, the single largest part, is what has happened, the extinction of the starting pitcher. And baseball's attitude, let's just have a bullpen day during the World Series, in which case I go to Law and Order SVU. So
right.
God bless Justin Verlander for giving voice to this. A guy who's out there in the trenches. He has been a big star. He's pitched in multiple markets. He's been in the game long enough, and he came in at a point where people still completed games. 28 complete games last year. Talk about the NBA being embarrassed over the All-Star game. Major League Baseball ought to be embarrassed. But, Tony, I don't think we're there yet. I don't. I worry that Justin Verlander's voice is just like a call in the wilderness, and there's not a chorus. He needs a chorus behind him, like Sunday morning in a Baptist church, and I worry he doesn't have enough amens.
So Verlander has been a guest on this high-quality program several times. He is a great guest.
Yes,
I find myself agreeing with virtually everything that he says. I don't know in this moment, when he looks at the world of pitching, I don't know how much of that is from the narrow prism of a guy trying to get to 300 wins. But I think we both agree if he gets to 300 wins, he'll be the last guy to ever do it because pitchers don't get enough starts and managers don't leave them in long enough to hang around. Now, I don't believe that managers don't want their starting pitchers to win. I think they do want them to win, but they have found another path to winning, or sometimes the GM calls and says, too many pitches, get them out of here.
Yeah.
Okay? So, okay. Now, I don't want to just slam analytics, Mike, because I think analytics are a tool you use to get better. I don't think they're handcuffs. And Justin Verlander, when he went to Houston, praised the analytics in Houston. But having said that, I want to see pitchers go 7, 8, and 9. And let me say this to you, Mike, that if we know Rob Manfred for anything, he's willing to tinker with the game to make it better. Yeah. It's Rob Manfred's pitch clock. It's Rob Manfred's no defensive shifts in the infield. It's Rob Manfred, universal DH. It's Rob Manfred, ghost runner. He's like the Wizard of Oz there. So I am hopeful. I am more hopeful than you are.
Good.
I am.
Spread the gospel. You and Justin Verlander, spread it, because I don't know that baseball's invested. I don't know that baseball sees itself looking over the cliff just yet. They pull themselves back by shortening the game to 2.5 hours from 3:00, whatever it is. But I don't think they see this, Tony, as anything that's going to necessarily enhance it. Maybe Manfred does. Maybe with Theo pushing him in the back, he'll get there. One can hope.
Yeah. See.
Baseball is testing something new this spring training. Yesterday, Cody Poteet of my Cubbies became the first pitcher in the majors to challenge a ball strike call. Poteet appealed the umpire's call of ball by tapping his head, and a computer simulation on the scoreboard ruled it a strike, reversing the call. Only pitchers, catchers, and hitters are able to appeal anyway, and teams run out of challenges after failing twice. The system could graduate to regular season games as soon as next year. From what you've seen so far, are you a fan?
Okay, so the issue for me is time.
Yeah.
How much time does it take to do this? You know, the best thing that's happened to baseball in 50 years is the pitch clock. It has shaved almost 30 minutes off a game. So I don't want to go backwards. This thing took about 40 seconds. In the minors, it takes far less in the minors.
17 seconds.
Yeah, so to me, I can live with that. That's not a problem. We see this in tennis. We see this all the time in tennis. There's a call. You want to see how it works. It's on a big screen. The crowd really gets into it. There's a notion that it's clear. There's no ambiguity to it. So in that sense, I'm going to be for it. But, Mike, I've also heard that it's possible the strike zone that's on your TV when you watch a baseball game will not be there anymore to accommodate this. That's a deal breaker for me.
They have to adjust it.
I want to see this.
They're going to adjust it. They'll figure it out. Yeah. Look, I go to enough games. My seat, the seat I have, which is different than you and your VIP seats in the third row at Nats games, I sit in the upper deck right on top of home plate at Wrigley Field. And what you realize, Tony, is the view we get, which is over usually with the right shoulder, it's slightly off. And I've had people explain this to me over the years. They can play with that. They can get that exact. I'm for it. But only, like you, 17 seconds is about my limit. That's it. I didn't know you can't go to 20. Don't give me 45. And I understand it was new yesterday. I'm fine. You got to play with it. You got to experiment with it. You got to get it right. Yeah, I'm okay with it because you use it. In tennis, though, Tony, remember, you get like 5 challenges per set.
Well, there's only 2 here. There's only 2. There's only 2 unless you win one, and then you get to save it. Look, here's my reticence, Mike. You and I grew up with umpires. Everybody has grown up with umpires. We understand they miss ball strikes every once in a while. That's part of the game.
Yeah.
But if you can get it right, I'm for getting it right. With this caveat, Mike, I want the umpires to be out there. I want a full crew. I don't want this to be like a supermarket where they say you go into the self-checkout because there's nobody working the register. I don't want that. Don't want that. Let's take a break. Coming up.